Well, the consumption level in the Chinese New Year probably is another evidence that the service sectors in Chinese economy is still pretty robust at this moment, despite the manufacturing activities a bit slowing down. The earlier indicators like the China service PMI still pretty stabilized, despite we see the factory PMI drops. Also today we see the small cap in stocks actually surge pretty much, and that is evidence that probably now the confidence level on the private sectors is much more improved. And moving forward, despite we still don't know what's the outcome of the U.S. and China trade negotiation will be like, but the market seems to believe that if the trade talks still need to extend, probably the domestic side will come out with more fresh stimulus to stimulate the economy.
Well, thank you, Mr. Zhu. We'll be getting back to you in a moment. Another set of a staggering number here. China's revenue from domestic tourism gained more than 500 billion yuan during the week-long holiday. More than 400 million trips were made, including about 7 million outside China, and that's an increase of almost 16% from last year. Asian destinations still attract the biggest share of outbound trips, with Thailand being the most popular, followed by Japan, Vietnam, South Korea and Singapore. Within China itself, the southern resort city of Sanya attracts the most visitors, with Beijing and Guangzhou rounding out the list. All right, now let's turn back to our guest, Jimmy Zhu. The Chinese economy is never off the Western media's radar, indeed, with many saying it's slowed down. It's slowing down, and it could spell trouble for the global economy. Do you think that these numbers actually are telling another kind of rather different story about Chinese economy?
Well, in the Chinese New Year period, actually, we already heard the global central banks has already voiced that they have some negative feelings on the global economy for this year, as we see lots of central banks actually downgrade the forecast. Also, the Indian central banks cutting the interest rate. So it's very difficult for the Chinese economy to outperform at this moment, because the given China is one of the major trading partners in this world. But I believe that now the government officials actually will probably putting more stimulus measures into the private sectors, because at this moment when the global economy is slowing down, probably it's very crucial to boost the domestic consumption confidence, and also the capital markets will be more open probably this year. So such confidence improvement also will also be helpful to attract more foreign investment into China.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Jimmy Zhu from Shanghai.
Well, a list for the businessmen, the past 7 days was absolutely golden weeks for them. And now what people care about most is how much Chinese spend during the past 7 days. The Commerce Ministry just told us it's super high. From Monday till Sunday, nationwide sales of all retail and catering enterprises reached 1.01 trillion yuan, or about 150 billion US dollars. The figure was up 8.5% year on year. And now if you look back, the new record has been set every year since 2017, when the sales have exceeded 800 billion. Now to 2018 over 900 billion, and to this year over 1 trillion. The Chinese consumers spend more on high quality products, with the sales of organic food, smart home appliances and new electronic devices seeing fast expansion. The ministry says supply of daily necessities was sufficient and the prices were generally stable. Also, Chinese spend a lot on travel. Nationwide, a total of 450 million trips were made, and rising by 7.6% year on year. With so many people on the move, China's domestic tourism revenue reached 514 billion yuan, or 76 billion US dollars, an annual increase of 8.2%.